Before you scroll, I need 30 seconds of your time. This could save your life. Have you ever felt a strange numbness in your hand, a sudden wave of exhaustion, or a moment when your balance just slipped, for no clear reason? And did you tell yourself, I'm just getting older, it's nothing, and move on? I need you to hear this. That moment you brushed off. That nothing. It could be the only warning your brain gives you, before a stroke strikes. Most strokes don't begin with pain or drama. They start with a whisper. A twitch. A flicker. A strange little thing that feels too small to matter. Until it's too late. Direct hit. If you're over 60, what I'm about to show you could be the difference between walking, and never walking again. Between remembering your grandchild's face, or forgetting it forever. In this video, I'll reveal 8 silent stroke warnings most seniors miss. Including one dangerously common symptom that even some doctors mistake for harmless fatigue. Warning, and I'll share that one, right in the middle of this video. Because that sign alone, might be your brain's final cry for help. Backhand index pointing right, so please, don't skip this. And don't wait for something worse to happen. If you care about your health, or someone you love. Tap subscribe now to support Living Well Daily, and help us bring these life-saving truths to more seniors who deserve to know. Let's begin, with the most silent, most deadly sign of all. The pressure that builds quietly, until it explodes. Part 1, the pressure cooker, silent but deadly. Let's start with the most overlooked danger of all, high blood pressure. I call it the pressure cooker, because you may not see it, feel it, or hear it, but deep inside, it's quietly building up steam. And when there's too much pressure and no release, something breaks. In your body, that something is usually a blood vessel. And yet, so many seniors say to me, but doc, I don't feel anything. I feel better when it's high. That, my friend, is the trap. High blood pressure doesn't always bring symptoms, but it does bring damage. Every minute it's left untreated, it's eroding the inside of your arteries. It makes those once smooth tunnels rough and sticky, perfect for trapping cholesterol, fat, and even tiny clots. It's the perfect storm, setting the stage for both types of stroke. In fact, studies show that just reducing your systolic pressure by 10 points can cut your stroke risk by up to 30%. That's huge. And it doesn't require magic, just small, daily habits like reducing salt, walking a little more, and managing stress. I had a patient once who came in for a strange headache. We checked her blood pressure, it was dangerously high. We got her to the hospital just in time. That headache wasn't random. It was her brain's final warning before the storm. If you're nodding along right now, thinking, that sounds like me, take a breath. Because what comes next isn't just dangerous, it's often ignored entirely. Part 2, the odd headache, new, sudden, or unusual. Let's face it, headaches happen. You might have tension behind your eyes, a dull ache after a long day, or the kind that comes with a stiff neck. But what I want you to listen for today, is the headache that's different. You know your body. And when a pain in your head feels sharp, sudden, or unfamiliar, especially if it comes with vision changes, nausea, or confusion, you need to pay attention. That's not just getting older. That's your brain telling you it's in trouble. Imagine your brain like a city. Every thought, every movement, every memory, they all rely on traffic. Now imagine a bridge in that city collapsing. The traffic backs up, entire blocks go dark. That's what happens when blood can't get where it needs to go. Some of the most devastating strokes I've seen were preceded by these strange headaches. Most of them were brushed off. It's probably the weather. I didn't drink enough water. But those delays, they cost lives. If you're over 60 and suddenly feel a headache that makes you pause, even just for a moment, don't wait. Get it checked. And if you've made it this far in the video and you're learning something new, don't forget to comment below and subscribe. Your support helps us keep bringing life-saving content to more seniors just like you. Next, let's move from what's happening inside your head, to what you might feel in your skin. Because the next warning can show up in your fingertips. Part 3, the numb side, when one limb goes quiet. We've all felt it, the pins and needles when a leg falls asleep, or when we lean on one arm too long. But what if that numbness shows up without a cause? What if one side of your body suddenly feels different? That's not coincidence. That's your brain waving a red flag. Here's the thing, your brain is wired in a cross pattern. The right side controls your left arm and leg, and the left side controls your right. So when one hemisphere isn't getting enough blood, the opposite side of your body pays the price. You might notice a hand that won't grip like it used to, or a leg that feels heavier than normal. You might drop your keys, fumble your coffee cup, or feel a strange buzzing that wasn't there before. And here's the scary part, sometimes, it goes away. You feel normal again and think, that was odd. But that's often a TIA, a transient ischemic attack. It's what we call a mini-stroke, and it's your body's one and only warning shot. Don't ignore it. Because the next one might not be so gentle. So we've talked about how stroke can steal your feeling. But what happens when it starts to steal your words? Up next, we're going to explore a sign that can be subtle, strange, and absolutely devastating if missed. Part 4, slurred, silent, or scrambled, when speech breaks down. Have you ever struggled to find the right word, or say something out loud, and suddenly the words don't come out right? Maybe your mouth moves, but your voice doesn't follow. Or maybe your sentences just sound wrong. This isn't forgetfulness. This isn't just getting older. This is your brain's language center misfiring. And when it happens, it's urgent. Some people slur their words. Others say one word but mean another. One man I treated told his wife, "Pass the screwdriver," when he meant to say, "water." She laughed at first, until he repeated it 3 times. The stroke had already begun. This symptom is especially dangerous because it can feel minor. You might think you're just tired, or talking too fast. But when your words betray you, that's your brain calling out. And here's the final truth, time is everything. The faster you act, the more brain you save. Now imagine this, what if your body stays still, but the room starts spinning? What if your legs won't cooperate, or your balance is suddenly off? That's exactly what we're diving into next. And believe me, it's one of the easiest signs to miss. Part 5, the balance breakdown, when every step feels off. You stand up, and suddenly the floor feels like it's shifting. You try to walk, and your feet don't seem to land where they should. You're not dizzy, exactly, but your balance is off, your body feels disconnected, and nothing about it makes sense. If that sounds familiar, don't shrug it off. Especially if it comes on suddenly, or if others notice before you do. This may not be just fatigue or a bad day. This may be your brain's internal compass losing its signal. The part of your brain that manages coordination and balance is incredibly sensitive to blood flow. When that blood supply is interrupted, even briefly, it doesn't take much for everything to feel off. Some seniors describe it like walking on a boat. Others say they feel like they're being pulled sideways. If your gait has changed, if your footing feels unsure, or if you suddenly start swaying or falling, it's time to pay attention. And here's something many people miss: when stroke impacts balance, it can resemble alcohol intoxication. Slurred speech, poor coordination, stumbling, but without a single drop of alcohol. So, if a loved one says you're walking funny, don't laugh it off. Don't wait. That strange walk might be your body screaming for help. Let me tell you, the next sign isn't one that knocks you off your feet. It's sneakier. It settles in your body slowly. And many people never realize it's part of something serious until it's too late. Part 6, the crushing fatigue, when energy disappears without warning. We all feel tired sometimes. But there's a difference between needing a nap and feeling like you can't lift your own limbs. If you're suddenly exhausted for no reason, not sleepy, but deeply, physically wiped out, your body may be trying to protect itself. Fatigue is your brain's version of a power-down mode when things are going wrong inside. This isn't the kind of tiredness you cure with coffee or a walk. It's the kind where brushing your teeth feels like running a marathon. Where even standing up feels like a task. When stroke begins to interrupt blood flow to the brain, energy is rerouted. Your body slows everything else to prioritize the brain. And if the brain is still struggling, the rest of your system gets dragged down with it. If you're usually active and suddenly find yourself exhausted doing your usual routine, stop and reflect. Especially if the fatigue comes with a headache, numbness, or loss of balance. And let's be honest, as seniors, it's easy to chalk everything up to just age. But this kind of fatigue isn't your age, it's a fire alarm you can't hear. Stick with me, because what comes next might surprise you. It's a change not in how you feel, but in how your body moves. Especially your hands. Part 7, the coordination collapse, when simple tasks become a challenge. You go to button your shirt, and suddenly your fingers don't cooperate. You reach for a glass, and it slips. You go to write your name, and your hand just won't listen. This kind of subtle clumsiness is often ignored. But it's one of the clearest signs that something is interrupting your brain's communication with your muscles. When your brain loses oxygen, even for a moment, the smallest tasks become complex. That handshake, that button, that fork, they're all a symphony of brain signals. When a stroke disrupts that system, the whole orchestra goes off key. And because it often starts mild, it's easy to dismiss. You'll say, I must be tired, or, my hand's just stiff. But if the problem is only on one side, especially your dominant side, that's a red flag. You don't have to be paralyzed to be having a stroke. Sometimes, it's just a delay. A hesitation. A subtle mismatch between intention and motion. And what comes next? Well, it might just be the most terrifying stroke symptom of all. Because what happens when the world around you literally disappears? Part 8, the vision vanish, when sight fades suddenly. Imagine sitting on the couch, watching TV, when suddenly, half the screen is gone. Or you reach for your phone, and the edges look blurry. Or worse, a gray curtain falls over your field of vision. Vision changes are one of the least recognized, but most dangerous, early signs of stroke. And here's the tricky part, your eyes might be perfectly fine. The problem isn't the lens. It's your brain. The visual cortex, located at the back of your brain, is responsible for translating what your eyes take in. If blood flow to that region gets disrupted, your brain simply stops interpreting parts of your vision. That's why so many seniors don't realize what's happening. They might bump into door frames, misjudge a curb, or drop something to the side, and think they were just distracted. But here's the truth: if your vision changes suddenly, without warning, and especially if it affects only one eye or one side, you must treat it as a medical emergency. You can't afford to wait for it to clear up. Because once a part of your brain goes dark, it doesn't always come back. And now that we've walked through these 8 silent signs, you might be wondering, what can I actually do to prevent this? Well, stay with me. Because next, I'm going to show you the 9 most effective, research-backed ways to reduce your stroke risk, starting today. The final section, 9 essential habits that shield your brain from stroke. Now that we've walked through the 8 silent but powerful warnings, you may be wondering, is there anything I can do, right now, to lower my risk? The answer is a loud, hopeful yes. Below are 9 science-backed habits, built over decades of research and real-world success, that every senior should consider. Not just for prevention, but to reclaim the energy, clarity, and strength you deserve in your golden years. 1. Cut back on salt. Try to keep your sodium intake below 2,000 milligrams a day. This one habit alone could reduce your stroke risk by over 40%. 2. Control your blood sugar, especially important if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic. High sugar weakens blood vessels silently. 3. Quit smoking, for good, no moderation, no excuses. Cigarettes are rocket fuel for strokes. 4. Know your cholesterol numbers, not just total cholesterol, but your LDL, bad, and HDL, good. If you don't know your numbers, ask your doctor to check. 5. Move, move, move. Just 30 minutes of walking a day, 5 days a week, can cut your risk dramatically. You don't need a gym, just a pair of shoes and the will to walk. 6. Sleep deeply and consistently. If you snore heavily or wake up gasping, you might have sleep apnea, a hidden stroke risk. Ask about a sleep study. 7. Watch your weight. Even losing 5 to 10 pounds can ease pressure on your heart and arteries. 8. Monitor your blood pressure at home. Don't wait for your next appointment. Get a home cuff, track your numbers, and take control. 9. Get screened for atrial fibrillation. This heart rhythm disorder causes blood clots that can travel to the brain. A quick ECG can detect it. And above all, don't wait. The biggest tragedy I've seen in my career wasn't the stroke itself, it was the delay. The ignored warning. The, "I'll deal with it tomorrow." Don't let that be your story. You deserve a future that's clear, connected, and strong. A future where you remember the names of your grandchildren. Where you dance at family weddings. Where you stay sharp, independent, and in charge of your life. If this video helped you today, even just one part, please do 3 things. Backhand index pointing right, click the like button. It tells YouTube this is important, and it helps others find it too. Backhand index pointing right, share this video with someone you love. Because what you've learned here, it could save them. Backhand index pointing right and hit subscribe to Living Well Daily. This is your home for honest, doctor-backed advice, made for seniors, by someone who genuinely cares. Until next time, take care of your brain, because it takes care of everything else. You're not alone. You're not powerless. And it's never too late to live well, every single day. The Living Well Daily team.